Hello everyone and welcome to the Power 9 Podcast. My name is Mick. I'm one of your hosts alongside the blood artist Edwin Tan.
Good morning.
Morning.
What a tiring Saturday.
Yeah, man. I'm tired.
Don't complain. You're tired from all the playing.
Yeah, I'm tired from all the streaming and shit like that. I mean, we've been streaming the entire week. We've set a schedule and we're going to stick to it and we're going to just
Which is streaming every day.
Which is almost streaming every day now.
schedule.
It's just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So
That's
it's at
every
least
day.
it's at least 3 hours a day, and then we got to do like pre-production and like a bit of post-production. And then of course got to come down for the podcast on the weekend to do, So I'm here every day. Now we are almost permanently recording in
Grey Ogre Games.
Grey Ogre Games, yeah. So which is good. But it's also bad for Mark because he has to come in earlier on Saturdays.
Well, Ruben is here today.
Yeah, so it's bad for Ruben because today we tried to start earlier.
And Mark said, Ruben, can you go open up tomorrow morning?
And Ruben's like, oh, okay lo. Right. Joining us at the table today is the pungent master himself, Xiao Han.
Hi, hello. I thought this was a game shop. I don't know what I'm doing in front of Mike.
How come I got roped into this? What?
Sorry, do you guys sell dice here?
Can you loosen these ropes?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm glad to be of help, I guess. Please don't kill me.
Okay, so right. Today is going to be a very interesting episode because we're not going to
You
talk
haven't
about...
introduced Shaohan.
What?
So
yeah.
what do you don't play Magic?
Do you play Magic?
Yeah, I used to play Magic, but I now mostly just draft casually with friends.
Oh, okay, so you still play Magic?
Yeah, still do.
I see.
Yeah, so me and the two other people who play D&D with Mick, Ned and Ahmed, we draft. We buy boosters and we draft sometimes when we have a Saturday afternoon or two to burn.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Then it's I play mostly Dungeons and Dragons, and I spend most of my time, and that's what I kind of like, and that's where most of my geekery goes towards, either dungeon mastering for people or playing people's games.
Yeah. On top of marking papers as well, you're
I'm
assistant professor.
No, I'm not assistant professor. I'm just teaching. I'm just instructing. I'm just a lowly academic minion. Yeah, part of the sweatshop that goes into contemporary academia. Yeah.
Yes, your universities are run by elves.
Yes, and I'm the Santa Claus, low level construct tank.
So you're
on the assembly
educator?
line.
Yeah, I'm an educator, and I like to treat lessons as games and games as lessons. Sometimes I'm just confused. Yeah.
What do you teach exactly?
Mostly history and society and culture of Asia, mostly Asian studies.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So that's also why I like studying. That's what brought me to games, because usually in games there's a lot of world building, and school I study old stuff, so I kind of like the same things.
Sounds cool.
Cool.
Thank you.
Which department though?
The Southeast Asian Studies department.
Yeah, okay. I knew that. I just had to ask.
Everyone else.
Yeah, everybody else.
Hello, everybody
Now
else.
you know, yeah. Southeast Asia. Do you guys know where Southeast Asia is? Because some people don't. But it's okay. I think it's fine.
In case I thought you, marked you, and graded you poorly, please don't hate me. Come to Grey Ogre Games, please. I'm not actually working here. Please support.
Please support your local game stores. They are what helps the magic.
Yeah, brick and mortar, guys. Brick and mortar.
Your mom and pop shops.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is Ben mom or pub? Both.
He's both.
Okay.
He's the back end.
He's the
Here's the back.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, this week's episode, as you can guess from our guest, it's not going to be about Magic the Gathering, but at the same time, it's about Magic the Gathering. It's about Dungeons and Dragons.
Half and half.
Half and half.
Yeah.
Half and half is disgusting, by the way.
So what? Peanut butter and chocolate, or or is it like
I
ice
want to know what you're referring to.
No, it's a creamer, man. It's a disgusting creamer sweetener thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Now half and half is like half cream, half something.
Okay.
Damn gross. It's like when you use what's that sweetener called?
Saccharin, the artificial sweetener.
Yeah, there's a brand for the
one, the blue color thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got this thing lay on your tongue kind of feeling.
Yeah, that's gross, man.
Yeah.
We should really do the coffee podcast, man. We were talking about coffee last week as well.
Man, coffee podcast has like
It's taken.
Yeah, it's taken. It's like
research?
well, I searched for it. I didn't listen to any of the episodes, but they've been casting since 2014.
And they are not talking about coffee, I think. Something else.
It's in a coffee shop. That's about it.
It's done in a coffee shop.
Yeah. But I think they could talk about coffee quite a bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, over a cup of coffee. Anyway, we're about like 5 minutes in. If you did not know, you're listening to the Power 9 podcast. Every week, myself and Edwin, we get together and we talk about the issues that really matter in your life in a little game called Magic the Gathering. I'm not sure if you heard of it. Just very obscure, 100 million players, somewhat.
Is that a real number?
Yeah, that's a real
million?
number. That's, what's his name? Aaron Forsyth came out and said like there's about 100 million players in the world. I suspect there are more because in Bangladesh and in basically in
sure, people
middle,
play in Bangladesh.
Yeah, no, in Middle Asia, like it's Middle Earth. There's not, in South Asia they don't distribute the cards at all. But I'm very sure that there are people who play Magic in India and Pakistan and what's that place that Shahash and Israel? Yeah, because if you have like the world magic champion from Israel, I think some players in Israel will be playing, right? I have a feeling they started distributing cards in Israel already. I'm not too sure. Anyway, you can find the latest episodes on power9podcast.com. You can also find it on mtgcast.com, and you can find it on iTunes and any of the podcast service apps that you have. Just search out Power 9 Podcast, you'll find us. You can also find us on YouTube. Every week we come up with very weird content. We're putting our podcast there. We have new video segments coming up.
Soon.
Should we? Yeah. Do you want to spoil? I think it's okay. No. Okay. Fine. I am under. I'm under self-imposed.
Gag order.
Yeah. NDA. What's that? What's that thing that games have that you have to?
Non-disclosure act. Is it?
No, there is a term for it.
Yeah. There's
embargo.
Yeah. I am embargoing myself to not say anything. Anyway, yeah. YouTube.com. Just go. Find Power 9 Podcast. Please subscribe to us so that I can just change it to youtube.com/power9podcast. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/power9podcast. You can find us on Instagram at Power9 Podcast, where we do very interesting showing off
sheets
like
on Instagram.
Random sheets of cards. And also you can find us on Twitter at Power9 Podcast.
The 9 is the number 9.
Alright, so we're going to talk about D&D this week, but first, as usual, we'll do our week in Magic. Bring.
When are we ever gonna get there?
I don't know. I'm waiting. I've done some things.
You are being unemployed now.
Yeah. I've done. Thanks.
Something should be done already.
It should have been me. Okay, so. Right. What was your week like
I didn't
in
play Magic. I wanted to play on Tuesday.
Yeah, you have that sweet aristocrats deck.
Well, you have that sweet aristocrat,
basically,
which is
my
in my possession. Yeah.
So why aren't you playing?
My wife fell sick, so brought her to the doctor and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Just vomiting and.
What did she eat, man?
I don't know. She had like. I think the flu is going around this couple of weeks, so
yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, so she fell sick and then started feeling bad.
Maybe I passed it to you, and then you were resilient, but then
I got it
to her.
like a couple of weeks back as well.
Also, you passed it to me.
I don't know. Maybe.
And then passed it to her.
Maybe.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
You should be so proud of yourself, man.
I didn't play Magic for the whole week. I think.
I guess Power 9 Podcast is going viral.
Literally viral.
It's already 11.
It's only 11:30 in the morning. Help. So you imagine like I run a campaign with Shahan in the group. You can imagine like 3 hours worth of
Cool.
Pungence.
I'll join one day.
yeah. It's a very pungent feeling.
I know.
So how was your week in Magic?
Well, I only got to play once, so I got to play Modern,
Okay.
which we stopped streaming, which is why I get to play.
Why did we stop streaming Modern?
No, we didn't even start streaming Modern before. As in we stopped streaming on the Wednesday
on that day,
evening,
just so I
can play a bit of Modern. But I decided to pick up some people's suggestions on using Cartel Aristocrat in my Aristocrat deck. It sucks.
Really?
Full stop.
Cartel Aristocrat, you sacrifice a creature and it gains protection.
Sacrifice another creature against protection from
color.
color.
Oh, I saw that there just now.
So it's not good. It was supposed to be in the Abzan build that I wanted to.
Man, it sucks. It just... I know I understand it's another sec outlet, but...
It's just bad.
It's bad. It's slow.
It's not a Viscerous here.
Yeah, it's not a Viscerous here, and like... Well, I have other ways to just sack all my things, so I think playing that is really slow. I'd rather play like another Painful Truths. But I changed my deck too much to the point where now it ceases to function the way it used to. So I'm just going to put back all my old cards and like put it back the way it was to play.
Oh yeah, just now you were asking me, because I mentioned I wanted to build a Abzan Aristocrats for Modern.
Yeah.
So I
what goes
remember,
in?
so green is for, well, what else? Collected Company.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's why everybody's telling me now, no, dude, you have to have Collected Company. No, the deck worked fine.
White is for the sideboard, for the... What? Rally to the Ranks? Return to the Ranks.
Yeah.
The other one?
Rally the Ancestors.
Yeah. And...
Rally the Ancestors.
Tight Hollow Scholar.
Yeah.
It's 2
Black,
mana. It takes cards off.
Man, that card's good.
I think that's pretty good. And that card, you can actually stack the ability. So cast it, strip a card, and then the second ability on the stack and sack it away.
Yeah, are you playing Wasteland Stranglers though? Because those would be good.
Probably not.
Those would be good with your Path to Exiles and the Tight Hollow Scholars. Tight Scholar Hollows.
No, Tight
Scour Hollows.
Tight Hollow Scholars. Never mind.
You know that card, the black-white card that strips a card from your opponent's hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, that card. Right. So what were we talking about?
Yeah, your week in Magic. So you were playing Modern.
Bad.
So the rest of the week you were just streaming in the shop?
Yeah. Okay, so for those of you who haven't been following us, like we've been doing streaming on, well, I mentioned it, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it's either at 3 p.m. or 8 p.m. You can just check out our page, twitch.tv/theasianjudge, and the schedule's right there. So on Monday we do so we've decided Monday we'll do Modo or MTGO drafts. Tuesday is SCG game night, so it's at 8 o'clock, and this is all in Singapore timing, by the way. It's GMT +8, and then 3 o'clock on Wednesdays we do Sealed. Then on Thursdays, we do a 3 p.m. slot and 8 p.m. slot, which is really tiring.
3 o'clock, sorry, backtrack. Wednesday, 3 o'clock, Sealed.
Yeah, Wednesday, 3 o'clock, Sealed. Thursday, 3 p.m., we do some random stuff. Probably we'll play like another game. Since Overwatch is out, we'll probably be streaming a lot of Overwatch soon. And at night will be Vintage, which we have no clue what's happening.
That's good.
So like me and Ruben, like right now Ben isn't in the shop.
The only
guy who
Vintage.
knows exactly what Vintage is, and while I'm casting with him, like he will at least teach me a little bit about Vintage. I'm like, oh, okay.
So you're saying Ruben is useless?
Yeah, I'm saying Ruben is quite useless. In fact, that day I for one whole game or for 1.5 games, right, I was doing the personality test. Briggs Myers personality. And he was just grilling me. It's like, hey, didn't you say earlier that you prefer like orderliness versus this thing? Yeah, I know, but this is how I feel right now. Yeah, so it's a really it was a fun episode. You can find it on YouTube. Well, not our YouTube page, but on
Grail Girls
YouTube page.
Cool.
Or you can find it on twitch.tv/theasianjudge. Just look for the previous stream.
Yeah.
That was quite fun.
Join us for our streams. We are... Yeah. improving every week.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. Well,
we're upping the quality. We are seeing what can be fixed. We added time counter, time counter.
There's
a timer,
now.
and then we added. We did the live counter, but I think that can be improved.
Yeah. We're always trying to improve the game. So.
And actually, I saw someone commented that maybe we should let the players play on a black base instead of their own playmats, because it gets a little bit
distracting, right?
Especially when the camera is not super HD.
Well, they're
yes and no.
Yes, well, you want to show off like Grey Ogre games, like Anyway,
we'll fix that.
We'll fix that. Yeah, our table's a bit smaller than the ones you find at the Pro Tour, or the ones you find on the Hareruya streams, which is quite a problem. I mean, like a good table size would be.
I was thinking of
two playmats.
Solution this morning. Actually, we could just get a board.
A board and just place
a square
it
board
on.
and just place it on top.
Yeah.
But the concern is if it's not long enough, the players might press it and then
flip it. Flip the table.
We'll try.
And then there'll be like, if you know you're losing, right? Like Okay,
good idea.
Anyway, and I finally so last thing in my week in Magic, so I finally put together my folder.
Oh,
so like I'm starting to sell cards now.
Did you bring your folder today?
No, I did not bring my folder today.
You came here to talk about Magic.
Because
you didn't bring anything.
No, because I brought the Dungeons and Dragons books and stuff like that, and the laptop and equipment.
Okay. Excuses.
It's heavy, man.
You brought a backload of excuses.
I've got a lot of cards to sell.
You got a lot of excuses.
I've got a lot of cards. And I got to sell them all. So I want to sell them all. Of course, some of them are like completely worthless. So yeah. Did you do anything in Magic this week, Sean? I came to a Magic store.
I came to a Magic store twice.
Twice already.
This Grey Ogre games is great. Could you take off the ropes now? Really?
These manacles.
Do you draft very often?
Used to last year. Like during the Takia and we were all being crazy Mongolian shamans jumping around, kicking each other, and being Jeskai and Huayapaying. But this time, I would like to dress up in a cape and go bleh over Innistrad, but I haven't had a chance to do so yet.
Oh man, Innistrad draft is crazy fun. I wanted to play one yesterday.
Let's plan a draft next week.
Yeah.
Do you want to draft next Saturday?
Next Saturday if you're free. Evening should be around, or maybe like next Sunday is better.
Oh, okay. Sunday sounds fine.
That's good. Let's set one up. Like
Sunday in the afternoon.
It's crazy fun, man. Like Innistrad draft is.
I've enjoyed it so far.
Good, yeah. Well, have you been doing okay? You've been doing okay, lah.
I drafted like 3-4 times.
Yeah, you were okay. You're above average, right?
I don't know if you're being sarcastic. I'm just trying to process like
no, you're above average.
It's
because Wei Kiong has been drafting for the last 3 times, and all 3 times he's gone 0-3. He just says like, I don't know, I don't understand. Like some draft formats like you just can't understand. In Khans, Khans and Fate Reforged and the Dragons of Tarkir, like all the mechanics are so different, so that like for you to have to balance certain archetypes becomes a bit difficult.
And on top of that, those blocks are multicolored. It's a little bit difficult to draft.
So, but it's a more forgiving in that sense, because like you can go like multicolor and be okay. But you understand it. When you understand it, then it's okay. But come Innistrad has so many different mechanics and interactions that maybe it can overwhelm sometimes, and like especially when you're picking cards. When you're drafting, like you kind of feel like, okay, I think I can hit Delirium, but then there's this Madness card inside, which my deck is kind of more attuned to Madness, but I definitely can get the Delirium, so you gotta balance it out.
Basically,
you gotta balance it out. Anyway, enough about our week in Magic. Usually we say it's supposed to be a 5-minute segment, but it's never a 5-minute segment. Never. Okay, so topic of the week. 2 weeks ago at the now by the time you're listening, it's 3 weeks ago at Pro Tour Shadows over Innistrad. Lo and behold, was it Aaron Forsyth that came out? Well, somebody came out
into this show today with
not knowing anything.
No idea what the doing.
Sorry, where's the memo?
I never played D&D in my life. The first time I saw a D&D game was a couple of weeks back on a podcast. I was watching it, so people were playing. So okay, it's a role playing. It's basically talking. Your friends. It looks fun. It's
a lot of spitballing and this thing. So somebody came out and said, we're having this D&D expansion, and this is not D&D crossing over into Magic, because D&D crosses over into Magic many times. It's just that they've never outright admitted it. Okay, so like Curse of Innistrad is definitely born of Ravenloft, the gothic horror realm, right?
Yeah.
Most of the magic settings is from Forbidden Realms.
Forgotten Realms, right?
Oh, Forgotten Realms, not Forbidden Realms. And are there any metal-based, like artifact-based realms?
There are in D&D, but I do also remember that back in the days of Legends, right? Like Dakon Blackbeard and Sokana, the Swamp King era, and Takashi, the random man with a gong. Remember random man with a gong? Isn't that his art? Random man with a gong? Yeah, random man with a gong. So. Right? Yeah, Stang. Remember Stang, the guy who made copies of himself? Stangg, like some red green guy, some red.
Sounds familiar.
Strag, I think.
Pretty sure that's a magic card.
Yeah, so like apparently like those were D&D characters of Richard Garfield and his friends. Apparently, like that's what I used to hear from the old Duelist magazine. Yeah. So like Stang, see this guy?
Yeah, Stang. So that's the thing. Like D&D was born out of Magic was born out of D&D. It's like when Richard Garfield. To kill time in between games, or like
they created a new game.
Yeah, they created a new game, which was very So
D&D has been around
since 1960
something, longer than Magic.
So created by the late Gary Gygax and
Dave Arneson, and there's a bunch of old guys who live out of their apartments and ran about playing D&D. They kind of I think they ran into some financial problems. D&D nearly was very good in the 80s and 90s, and in the late 90s D&D was nearly going down. Then WotC kind of bought over the struggling franchise and kind of revitalized the product.
Until somebody bought over WotC.
That happens all the time.
It's like so if you don't know what we're talking about, there's been a crossover for Magic into D&D, which is this thing called Planeshift Zendikar. It says here compatible with Dungeons and Dragons, with the registered trademark and all that. Tabletop role playing game. So basically, they are trying to map over storylines, or they map over a world of Zendikar into your D&D campaign, which is great. Because, way back in the day, which is about maybe 10, 12, 15 years ago, when they had D&D in WotC, they, I forget who it was, but it proclaimed, never shall the streams cross. Magic and D&D are two separate products, and we will treat it as such. And now we have... the
streams are crossing.
Yeah, the streams are crossing. Egon, make up your mind. Isn't it bad to cross the streams? No, it's awesome because we get
the best of both worlds.
Yeah, we get the best of both worlds. This was written, so they have this book, or this little booklet, Planeshift Zendikar, which allows you to, gives you some content on for you to map over, or for you to create a world, campaigns in the world of Zendikar.
This is available on the WotC website, right? This is for free, right?
Yeah, for free. You can download it. If anybody makes you pay for it, punch them in the face.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe don't punch them in the face, but call somebody to and then get them to punch them in the face.
Yeah,
say it wasn't you.
You can also probably find if you check this out on the WotC website, Planeshift Zendikar, and you're excited about it, you'd like to find out more. You can also go to the WotC, the Dungeons and Dragons section, to look for the basic D&D rules. They are for free distribution by WotC themselves. So you can just pick those up and probably get a game going if you're interested.
Yeah. So they give you like basic, just, I won't say basic information, but it definitely enough for you to start off a game proper.
How many players do you need to start a D&D game?
2 players.
1 dungeon master, 1 player.
Yeah.
And then everything else is an expansion on the team.
Yeah. And you need dice, pen and paper.
Okay.
Or
you drop dice sounds.
Well, this was written by James Wyatt, who is quite famous in
Shaohan. Reaching into his bag
dice bag.
Dice bag.
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
No problem.
Just in case
like random like tapping on the table.
Just in case you don't know what a dice sounds like.
It's written by James Wyatt, who is of old D&D fame, 3.5, and maybe even older. And he's been involved in D&D.
I never touched D&D. So what does 3.5 mean?
Oh,
it's just version.
So the current edition is 5.
So it's the edition number, basically. I see. Okay.
It goes all the way back in the days of yore into this thing they call OD&D, which is original Dungeons and Dragons, which is basically just 4 pieces of photocopy paper stuck together and people sold it out of shoe boxes. I mean, I'm being a bit glib there, but largely that was what it was.
So it's like the vintage for D&D.
Yep.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
And it went all the way into hardcover coffee table book
thing.
now, all the way that it has now.
So I think my mom has the 4 pieces of cardboard, 2-sided.
Why does your mom have that?
Yeah, we're all nerds in the family. So it's 2-sided. You had the Amazon, you had fighter, you had wizard or warlock, I can't remember, sorcerer, and then you had the healer.
Okay,
these 4 guys. And I think there was a 5th. I think that was a 2nd edition or something like that. But it was still on cardboards.
Yeah.
It was still on pieces of cardboard. Like that was your character sheet.
That's cool. Sounds a lot to me like 4 kids just playing like role playing games.
Exactly.
And just playing with their imagination and
Yeah.
That's basically how games were played when you didn't have electronic devices.
Yeah, exactly. Even if when you did have electronic devices, they would have like text and like Zog, they would you enter a room, and then you've
been eaten by a grue.
Yeah.
Okay, old time gamer talk.
You met a piece of slime.
The history of D&D, a lot of it is like can be seen today, like the idea of the dungeon crawl. Like let's say games like Diablo or even the Division, which you have endless rooms after rooms. You go in and you kill stuff, take the loot, you go out. A lot of that kind of like backdrop can be seen all the way to D&D and its obsession with graph paper maps. If you look at old maps by the old dungeons, so they can stretch out into they look like architectural graph papers. It's like huge amounts of dungeon complexes.
It's hilarious. If you haven't played Dungeons and Dragons, it's I would recommend watching some maybe
streams,
tabletop. Yeah, tabletop. There's an episode not on Dungeons and Dragons, but an episode on what's the Dragon Age?
Dragon Age.
Yeah, to get an introduction on role playing games. Or there is this very good one which is called Critical Role under the Geek and Sundry channel that you should watch. And
their new intro is.
Yeah, the new intro is really sick, man. I like.
So I randomly saw what is that. Someone tagged you online.
Yeah.
I was watching that.
It's really cool. It's very cool.
The last part where I don't know if it's a mage or something shooting shit out from his dick. It's like a stream of laser from his dick. Okay.
We can say dick on this one. Yeah.
Sheesh, now I gotta blurb that out.
Yeah, more work for you.
No, what's the
so
time
whenever you feel like it, right, just curse. And then Mick will have to take note of the time. And then when he does post, he need to blurb it out. Yeah.
It's more work for Mick.
Yeah, more work for Mick. Feel Mick.
God damn it.
No.
Okay, so that's
So So moving into Zendikar.
Yeah, so let's move into Zendikar. So the booklet that you have, you can print it out, and it just came out, and it has 3 sections to it. One describing the world, the second one describing the races, and the third is a bestiary. And I think we'll go through each one in some form. So yeah, it gives you an introduction of like D&D and Magic the Gathering. And then talks about the world of Zendikar. And then for those of you, I mean, if you've been listening to the podcast, like we've been describing the world of Zendikar as in our lore episodes, which we haven't had in a while. I think we need to do a wrap up of the Zendikar storyline soon.
Really?
I don't know. It's long past. Yeah, I don't know. That's like we want Innistrad now, right?
No one loves the Eldrazi.
Yeah. After that, nobody, even Richard Garfield, Aaron Forsyth doesn't love the Eldrazi. Like, just ban them straight out, right? Right. So here about the world, like Zendikar is a dangerous world of little risk and priceless rewards. And I think all the stories kind of encompass that Zendikar itself is a living modifying world that fights back. Its mana is very strong, and it fights back. Like that's why we have the man lands from Zendikar.
So the lands are animated in Zendikar.
Yeah, so they and people who are able to tap into the mana of Zendikar, like Nahiri, like Nissa, they are very, very powerful planeswalkers because there is a very potent source of energy that is on Zendikar itself.
Can you play as planeswalkers?
No. Yeah, we'll get to that in a while, like the races that you can do. Okay. So they give you an outline of like how you should run the campaign, because Zendikar is all about adventuring, discovering. You go out and there's opportunities for adventurers to find their wealth and to find hidden artifacts, or just to get into trouble.
Yeah, it's also kind of like that's part of fine tradition of, let's say, Dungeons and Dragons, where you're usually essentially what they call murder hobos, in which you start off as a guy without anything. You may have some abilities here and there, but largely everything's bigger, tougher, and stronger than you, and you run about trying to find things and level up.
Yeah, try to find things, level up, then kill the things that are slightly bigger than you,
or
then
die
get
trying.
Their stuff, or die trying, get their stuff, and
what happens if you die in a game of D&D?
It depends. Like if you want, you can probably ask like for you can resurrect your character if it's possible, but sometimes it's not possible if your character gets digested by a giant acid monster. So you just make another character. Some people, they react to it very well. They say, sure, I'll play another guy. Some people react to it not so well. They'll make a guy that's totally a clone of the last character.
Okay.
Like let's say I have a guy called Bob, then the next character will be son of Bob.
It'll be Rob,
then Tob.
But you don't keep whatever levels.
It depends on game master to game master. Some people do it like, okay, what's the lowest level character in the party? The new guy is that level, so you don't fall down too much. Some people, it's kind of like, sorry, you go all the way to 1 again, and then you're like, I'm gonna make it. It feels a bit like Dark Souls after a while.
Yeah,
Dark Souls.
But at least Dark Souls, you maintain your XP.
Yeah, that's why Dark Souls is so casual.
Yeah,
Dark Souls not hardcore enough.
It's not high enough, man.
Stupid memes, all this sort.
In those spaceship shoot 'em ups, right?
Yeah.
When you die, you lose all your power.
Yeah.
So it's got to, it's harder than Dark Souls.
I think that's
Come
fair.
on, man. Yeah. That is only fair if you die, you lose all your loot and you lose all your powers. Well, you lose all your powers, but then you can find your loot again because your body is like right there.
Yeah.
Anyway, because it doesn't make sense. Like you die and then you get transported back as a whole piece.
Yeah. I think what I like about the Zendikar sets, the Zendikar Planeshift, is that it kind of allows Zendikar to... the Zendikar lore kind of allows a D&D game to take place. A lot of times it's like you need the people who are facing a common threat. I guess in this case the Eldrazi, even though we don't have statistics for the Eldrazi in D&D, we can use existing powerful monsters for that.
Yeah, we can map stuff over. We'll talk about that in the
later, right?
Yeah.
But I really like it that it allows basically people to work together. Whether you're playing whatever you want to play from Zendikar, you can probably play it together. I think that's quite cool.
Yeah. Well, there are also places on Zendikar, the civilizations on Zendikar. It's not like this like savage world. So I like to start off campaigns, especially for like D&D League. I like to start off in a bar. Everything happens. Everything happens in a tavern, in a bar. And like this, I think you sent me 20 things that must happen.
And that's one part of them is a bar.
20 things that will happen in a bar, or like how you start off a story in a bar. And I always like to do that because it's just, that's where you find all the information. That's where everybody comes together.
If we make a Zendikar game, can we have a bar called the Grey Ogre Tavern or something? And Benjamin is the bartender.
Yeah, Ben is the guy.
Ruben's the bartender.
The back end bartender.
Yeah, no, Mark is the bartender because he's manning the counter. And then like you see Ben like just carrying like barrels, barrels of ale, cascades of ale back into the thing.
Nobody asked him where the ale comes from.
Ruben is carrying.
Ruben is the serving
he's the wedge, is it? Okay.
Yeah, he's the wedge. Hello,
Everyone looks a bit disturbed by
flashing out our world now.
Yeah.
It's important.
The Grey Ogre Tavern. No, we gotta be a bit more sneaky about the name. I'll think about it.
Okay, the Umber Ogre,
the Umber Ogre, the Ember Ogre,
the Grey Giant.
Okay, so yeah, but that's the thing I like. There's a lot of things about Zendikar. Like you have. Zendikar is also rife with ruins. So pre-Eldrazi and post-Eldrazi ruins, you got the Ayor ruins in Akum, you got the Singing City in Murasa, you also have the Cypher in Flames in Murasa, you've got Fadun, the Jwa Isle in Ondu, you got the Sun Spring in Tazim, and you got Bentidrix in Sijiri, and you can make it anything you want, and post Eldrazi, you've also got different types of ruins. You've got the Eye of Eldrazi. The Eye of Ugin. That'll be great. You got Emeria. You got Tal Terik. You got Agadim, the Crypt of Agadim. You've got Ula's Temple.
What happened to Emeria in New Zendikar?
I have no clue, man.
There's no
never
card
came
that
out.
mentioned.
She did not come out. Limvala and Limvala came out, but Iona didn't.
No cards mentioned.
Iona or Limvala, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
So yeah, I haven't finished reading all the stories yet. I'm like backlogged, massively backlogged. Hagra also. You got Helix of Zoth, and then with the Eldrazi invasion, you have all the refuges, which are rife with a lot of story. Like even in what's the Black Refuge? Hagra Refuge, right?
I don't.
It's Hagra.
I don't even play Magic.
Hagra Refuge. There was like a big conflict there because it was Drana versus Kalitas. And they were trying to Kalitas is the traitor, and he was trying to vie control over all the vampires. And if you're a vampire, you could have an entire campaign all just vampires and humans all living in Hagra. Well, the humans are of lower caste than the vampires, but the world is there, and we have the stories. We know what was happening. So you can build the stories around that, or you can just put up full brand new campaigns based on other things, or just adventuring the entire plane.
Yeah, I guess one of the ways to think about using this, if you're interested in D&D and Zendikar at the same time, is really kind of like this is you're making a picnic, right? It's kind of like a buffet. You got bits and pieces here and there. You can develop it. If you really like something, you find a buffet, just turn it into a full meal. And the mechanics and the basics of that are already openly distributed by WotC. So you can just pick up and go. Part of that is just pick and run with it.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to move into the races of
Correct.
Zendikar.
What's that?
Correct.
Yeah.
What's
Correct.
Yeah.
Core.
We need to coordinate this.
Well, the cause ones are easy to do.
Yeah. Cause and effects. Yeah. Why did the Eldrazi die? Because of core punching. Cause and effect.
Okay, so there are multiple
Races.
on Zendikar. So when you create a character, the first thing you choose is a race and a class. So the race is obviously, the class, you can be like healer, you can be warlocks and stuff like that. So the classes are the same,
but the
races are
specific
only to
planes.
Zendikar.
Okay.
So on Zendikar you can find humans, obviously. Humans, just like in the Forbidden Realms of the normal D&D stuff, they have certain traits, so they have ability score increase of 1 each.
Humans must be pretty useless in a fantasy world.
They are kind of like, I'm playing a human in this game.
Okay.
Like they are kind of like the generalists and the versatile survivalists. So they can do anything, but nothing particularly well.
Yeah. Okay.
They're like master. They are jack of all trades,
Yeah,
master of none.
Yeah. So they can't see in the dark. They can't regenerate. They can't breathe fire. But generally, the versatility means that they can do a lot of things with tools and like mundane things. Usually a bit better than the other species.
Yeah, they can mop the floor a bit harder.
Okay. They can try to slide our hand.
Yeah, they can slide our hand and
they can set us on fire. Okay.
They can think up of very elaborate ways to kill spiders and centipedes.
I guess if you like movies, they're kind of like the Indiana Jones, Han Solo type characters. People who are cunning, fast, tough, and good at using tools, but don't have Jedi mind control powers or any special skills like that.
Okay.
So so the alignment for humans, they don't have any particular alignment, so you can go with anything that you want. And they're usually like 5 to 6 feet tall, right? As we would
normal
imagine human, Well, if you want, you can look yourself in the mirror and like measure. If you're about 4 foot tall human, then I'm sorry for you. And the humans, they live in, they not live lah. They gather together as expeditionary houses. So you've got 5 different houses. The Valakut House, the Palaka Foundation, the Aku Murasa, Balagat Expeditionary House. And there are rivalries between the houses and stuff like that. But of course, with the invasion of the Eldrazi, you will have cooperation or like forced cooperation. And humans can speak common and 1 extra language, which helps them deal with other people. Moving on, we have the the Kors.
That's correct.
There should be like some Kor song playing in the background, right?
Yeah, I'm wondering about how to play the Kor in actual table play. It's like I was just talking to Mick about this over breakfast this morning. It's like, let's say I want to play a Kor in a D&D game, so they don't talk, right? How do I coordinate with others? Like, do I use hand signs?
Kors don't talk. Yeah. So this is really cool. So Kors are like the white skinned people. They are pale, not white skin.
Mountaineers.
Yeah,
right?
they are not the supreme race.
Usually white.
They're not PC master race. Right?
They are like albinos.
Yeah, they are pale skin, either blue, white, or what's the other color?
Stone, right?
Yellow.
Basically.
Yeah. They are. One thing about them which is very cool that I found out just from reading this is that they don't talk. They rarely talk. They use hand gestures. They use hand signals, and it is exaggerated with their ropes. So they're very good with ropes, and they're very good with hooks. And they use that to communicate because they are very, when they communicate, they are very far from each other. So they use these hand signals to communicate whatever they want to.
I can also imagine in a mountain you don't want to talk so much. It can cause avalanches. Like
and when you're sneaking up on people, like you want to.
Or solid snake,
Go solid.
They don't have like lash communication.
But they do talk, lah. They just don't like to talk, right?
Yeah, and when they do talk, like it's just when they do speak, they typically use as few words as possible to convey their meaning. So they are the strong silent type.
So Nahiri is a core, right?
Nahiri is a core, yes.
Yeah, what do I really like about the flavor text of one of the cards? I think in like one of the recent Zendikar ones that I saw is like there were a whole bunch of core jumping on a monster and bringing out your ropes, and then someone was saying that I've seen collaboration but not coordination until they saw the core or something. And I thought
coordination,
Kor-munity, right? All the white core value. I mean, like I must say that as a white mana species, is one of the white mana species that I thoroughly enjoy the story about. It's like the lore about. It's like the other white mana species tend to be in the other Magic expansions tend to be kind of insufferable sometimes.
Like humans, knights, and like let's run to our death.
It started all the way from Benalia all the way till now.
Let's band together.
I'll band with this Timberwolf to this Tundra Wolf to get +1/+1.
Let's flank this Timberwolf.
Jumping Heroes of Benalia. I think that was like what, 2nd edition? Textbook example.
So these are the core traits. We have your dexterity score is increased by 2 and your wisdom score is increased by 1. Core are mostly lawful good with some dedication to community, community and traditions in their ancestors. The core, they're quite tall. They're about 6 feet tall. Core have core climbing. They got proficiency in athletics and acrobatics. They are lucky, which means that when you roll a 1 on your 20-sided dice for an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw. Basically, if you roll a 1 on a d20, you can re-roll the dice and you must use the new roll. Which, of course, if it's a 1, then you roll it again. So you never can get a 1.
So 1 is basically the worst.
One is a critical failure, which means that you didn't just fail. You failed miserably, and something else will happen. Yeah.
Okay.
So, for example, so for example, if like you're swinging with a sword, you're attacking, right, and you roll a 1, you totally miss the guy, and you lose grip of your sword, and now your sword's like
then you trip on the stone and you fall down and hit your face, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. If you're trying to do,
it shouldn't destroy you, but it should be at least a little bit humiliating and amusing for everyone else.
Why do you do that? In our party we have a guy who notoriously is like rolling 1s, and he keeps shooting his own party members
in the back
because he's a ranged character, so he like stands very far away, but then he misses, and it's a critical miss and like fires at somebody.
So my back has like 3 holes in it.
I wonder why my cape is like so singed. So the core can speak, read, and write common and communicate in silent speech with the other cores. So they've got hand
signal,
gestures.
Hand gestures.
You can't see what we're doing right now.
Sign language.
Okay, so moving on, we've got also merfolk. And merfolk are really cool because merfolk are divided into 3 tribes. So you have the Ula tribe, which is based on Ula is water. You got the Emeria tribe, which is based on wind. Then you have the Cozy tribe, which is based on the trickster. But Cozy is like those who are of Cozy. So Emeria and the wind are... So Emeria and Ula tribes are against each other. But the Cozy tribes
just like to cuddle up and be cozy.
They cozy up to each side.
They cozy up to each side. Man. So they never reveal their true identity until like whenever it's convenient for them or whenever it's advantageous for them.
So you won't know if this particular merfolk is a cozy or not.
Yeah.
So they don't have physical traits that sets
they
them
don't.
apart?
All the core look the same.
I guess their culture will be different, right? Like
their culture is different, but like they are able to assimilate into either tribe, or like at least when they travel together, they are able to like imitate other tribes. For the merfolk, for all merfolk, your charisma score is increased by 1, which I find ludicrous because you look like that, like you look like a merfolk. But your charisma is increased by 1. I don't understand.
It's a sexy fish.
Sexy fish.
Although looking at the art here, right, in the book, like mostly in bikinis and speedos.
I guess merfolk, they have a +1 to charisma because their beauty scales.
I cannot handle that.
Secretly, I actually love it, but I just like I like groaning as well. So yeah, depending on which faction you choose. So if you're Emeria, your wisdom score increases by 2. If you're Ula, your intelligence score increases by 2. And if you're Cozy, your charisma score is increased by another 1, but your intelligence is also increased by 1. And you've got like different abilities for each, like wind creed manipulation, water creed navigation. You've got creed of the trickster. And the merfolk are good spellcasters.
Yeah, so I mean, like, looking at it, I think like the Emeria creed, like they make pretty good divine casters, people who are druids and clerics, and I think like you look at it, they get wing creed manipulation, they get free deception and persuasion skills. So if you want to be the secretive prophetic figure who manipulates the whole tribe into doing things because God says so, Emeria looks like probably the thing you want to play. I think that gels with the lore, right? Kind of. Yeah. And
Ula tends to be more of like the
divers,
wizards,
the spelunkers, right? Like the ones who look for ruins and stuff. So you want to be Indiana Jones as a fish, I guess Ula's your choice.
Ula.
If you want to be Loki, but you want to be Loki, like you want to be a bard, a trickster, then Cozy probably looks like the drug of your choice, I think.
Probably like bards are
charisma based,
charisma based,
Never understood what bards do in games.
They
play their
they play
their instrument.
Well, they buff up party members. The bards are actually
cheerleaders, basically.
They're cheerleaders, but they're also masters of disguise. So in the Dragon Age, so like actually in D&D as well, but in Dragon Age, bards are actually in one of the realms, one of the continents in Dragon Age. Bards are assassins.
Yeah, that's the case. It was in the Dark Sun game as well.
Oh yeah.
Because as a minstrel, you go to someone's house, you perform, you put poison. You say, "I'm just going to the back door. I'm just going to check out my instruments." You go and put poison in the food. You disappear. No one knows who you are.
Yeah. You wear a mask and like nobody knows.
Yeah,
so,
you got all the makeup, everything.
Bards are like masters of disguises, like master of deception. So they don't ever trust the bard.
Okay.
Yeah. Because inside that guitar case might be a rocket launcher or machine gun. What's the Desperado song?
I wanted to do the Pulp Fiction one.
Alright, so moving on to the next race, vampires. So you can also play as a vampire. Vampires are really cool. They have intelligence score increased by 1. Their charisma increased by 2. Vampires have no innate tendency toward evil, but whenever they consume, but consuming the life energy of other creatures often pushes them to their end. Of course, there's a moral scale, and like people like Drana, they have this moral where like they only feed on the dying or feed on the willing. So and
so
the
they don't
vampires,
hunt,
they feed on people, the dying.
Willing to.
So that's the only that's her tribe's creed. Whereas Kalitas is just like go out and kill everything. Actually, Kalitas is go out and convert everything into Eldrazi stuff. So that's slightly different. They have this. They have dark vision,
so they can see we're in the night.
They can.
Resistance of necrotic energy, which probably in Magic terms is protection from black.
Pro black.
Pro black.
Which usually isn't the case. And they have this thing called Bloodthirst, which is very cool. You can drain blood and life energy from a willing creature, one that is grappled by you, incapacitated or restrained. Make a melee attack against the target. If you hit, you deal 1 piercing damage and 1d6 necrotic damage, and the target's hit point maximum is reduced by that amount, by the amount of necrotic damage. You regain the number of hit points equal to that damage. and then this reduction lasts until the person takes a long rest.
Yeah, so you can perma-kill people with it, right? It's pretty cool.
No, you can. So this is the cool part. If the target dies, this effect reduces its hit points maximum to 0, then it becomes a null. That's really fun. Then it becomes a zombie that you can control.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay,
So you like suck its blood, and then kill it.
And he becomes a vampire.
Becomes a zombie.
That you can control.
That was then. This is now.
Why does that person become a zombie? It doesn't make sense.
It's a null. It's a
like
null. Null is
like
it's just like an empty shell.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's basically a puppet.
It's like Dracula, like all the blood slaves he gets.
Yeah.
The best one. The best one's coming.
Yeah.
The best ones.
One that I really want to play now is because you in the games, right, you've really never been able to see very intelligent versions of these guys, but they're the goblins.
I wouldn't say that I'm going to be a very intelligent version of this guy, I must admit.
Well, that's the thing, like, intelligence among goblins is relative, so I think if your intelligence score is like 10, and 10 is like a +0 to your modifier, it's like average. You're a genius. You're freaking genius.
We shouldn't do this. Why not?
Genius
I'm
goblin.
a genius. Yeah.
Guys, we're gonna fly. How? We're gonna blow up Larry there, full of helium. We're gonna tie ourselves to Larry, and then we're gonna fly across the battlefield.
I think we need parachutes. Wow, you're a genius, Bob.
We don't even have parachutes.
Yeah. I guess self-preservation is not big on the goblin hierarchy of things. Right? Yeah.
Okay, so goblin characters have a ability score of
Constitution.
+2 to your constitution,
Which means they're tough.
Yep. Which is very strange because goblins are known to be like very small creatures and like usually die really quickly.
Small and pack dense.
Goblins are wildly chaotic and they have no particular inclination towards good or evil.
Does it blow up?
They've got dark vision, which is nice.
I don't need a dark vision. Everything's on fire wherever I go.
And they belong to different tribes. So you've got the grotag tribe, you've got the lava step tribe, you've got the tuk-tuk tribe. Tuk-tuk. They drive around, yeah. They're the transporters. Toot-toot. Okay, for those of you who don't know, tuk-tuks are like taxis in Bangkok.
Thailand,
So, yeah. And each tribe, of course, gives you different abilities. So, like if you're in the grotag tribe, you have proficiency in animal handling skill. If you're in the lava step tribe, you have advantage on stealth checks to hide in rocky or subterranean environments. If you're the tuk-tuk tribe, you have proficiency with thieves' tools because tuk-tuks are the crafters. They're very nimble with their hands.
The art is awesome, man.
Yeah, I am really very interested in playing a goblin, or at least like hosting a session where there's a goblin.
Where all goblins.
Goblins.
Hey guys, like really, if you role play it right, nobody has nobody has a good idea. They only have an idea, which is like, how do we get across this carrot?
And then get very distracted.
I don't know. I'll try to take you and throw you across. That sounds fine.
There was this thing I saw on like I think Reddit or somewhere. It was about you play an entire clan of goblins. So you play genetic drift downwards. So let's say you're very smart, you die, but your children inherit your smartness. So if we could one day, we could play like 50 goblins each and run about doing stupid things and then watch us die, and then our children all for a better life for the rest of the goblins. I mean, they're 1-1, right? So
all just 1-1 or 2-2s.
This is for my family. You look at, I think the fluff even says that, right? They get like they do many things, they fail, and then maybe one succeeds, everyone yay.
We'll do that now.
Monkey see, monkey do after that. Awesome, guys.
It's like that sledge piston, the piston sledge.
Piston, I think.
The equip cost is to sacrifice a creature, and like you see the goblin. The goblin holding the sledge, right? And it's not this, but yeah, the goblin holding a sledge is like very complicated tool with like a lot of pistons and a lot of like working gears and stuff, right? Actually, at the end of it, it's just like a big surface for you to hit things, and then the flavor text is like sometimes it explodes or something like that. So yeah, so that's why you have to sacrifice a creature to pass it on to somebody else.
They got a very good grasp on the scientific method. Trial and error, mostly error.
Or sacrifice an artifact. Okay, so finally we come to I think this is the last one. Yeah, finally we come to the elves. Elves are wildly elegant, or at least that's the first thing I see here. And elf traits, they have wisdom +2, and they also have dark vision. They have keen senses. You've got proficiency to perception skill, which is very important.
What does it do?
Perception is usually the thing that allows you to perceive things around the world, to gain an understanding and insight around your environment.
So let's say like in an actual game, we'll go something like, maybe I'm the game dungeon master, so I say to make in front of you, you see that the sky is red and there is a dark shape floating above the moon. And if Mick wants to see what it is, you say, can I see what it is? And I say, oh yeah, roll your perception. And Mick says, I don't have perception. Then he doesn't know what it is until maybe it's too late.
So like, it allows you to hear like rustling in the bushes that are further away.
And then it allows you to find out what.
Yeah, get more data.
Why it might be, get a bit more
data.
Okay. So if you roll like a natural 20, like everything turns into green numbers, like rolling down the screen. I can see everything.
All these elf Legolasses, they like to see everything.
They can zoom in and stuff. You also have Fey ancestry. You got advantage on saving throws against being charmed, and magic can't put you to sleep.
So you can't be magic. People can't screw with your mind so easily. Magic resists.
Unfortunately, the elves lost the able to trance, which is in the D&D. They take a quarter, 25% less time to recover. So they don't sleep. Well, they do sleep, but they sleep very little. So if a long rest is usually like 8 hours. So they only need to take like 2 hours of rest to regain everything back.
So like, they are long lived. They got very good metabolisms, I guess.
Yeah.
They do yoga a lot. They got strong core.
Yoga.
So they have different sub-races. You've got the Tajuru Nation. You have the Joraga Nation. You also have the Muldaya Nation. And each one, of course, grants you different abilities as well. So the Tajuru allows you to increase your charisma score by 1 because you look good and you like to groom yourself.
What does charisma do?
So charisma allows you to
charm,
do a lot of things. So charisma is a key stat in a bard or a sorcerer or a paladin. Paladin allows you to heal, allows you to... Well, when you're healing things, right, it's really you're just talking to the guy, making sure that they feel good about themselves.
Touching them.
Usually it's a touch.
Lay on hands, touch.
Lay on hands. Right. So usually, we can think about it as magic terms as like, oh, the wound is cured. But in actual fact, in my head, I feel like it's just being able to encourage the person to like, oh, I'm not feeling that bad.
And
like you lose an arm, like, it's a wound.
And charisma is also like in Dungeons & Dragons usually a way for you to like a sense of self kind of thing. So you got like usually if let's say a demon's trying to possess you or drive you to madness, usually it's you use your charisma to fight against that so that you have a sense of self. So that's usually, it's mostly a defensive stat. Mostly a defensive stat.
So if you're in the Joraga Nation, your dexterity score is increased by 1, and we all know what dexterity does. It makes you more dexterous. Allows you to pull back on the bow a lot harder and like
do better yoga poses.
Yes. And if you're in the Muldaya Nation, you can increase your strength by 1 because... Well, it's very strange. I don't understand why the Muldaya Nation is...
Why are the Muldaya?
I thought it should be...
like oracles.
Yeah, I thought it should have been the Joraga, the Tajuru Nation where you increase
very strong visions.
Oh, but they got super dark vision.
Super dark vision.
Yeah, they got super dark vision.
Because they got very strong vision as well. Right?
So they can see extremely well in the dark?
In the dark, yeah. So usually dark vision extends only up to 60 feet, but some races have up to 120 feet. But in dark vision, all you can see is like black and white. So it's like a cat. You can see silhouettes in black and white and like shades of grey, but you can't see them in color.
But they have sunlight sensitivity, so they're like scared of the sun. Or they're scared of the sun.
Are they? Oh, yeah. Okay. You have disadvantage on attack rolls and on wisdom checks
Perception
that rely on sight when the target of your attack or whatever you are trying to perceive is in direct sunlight.
Oh, okay. So they're kind of like albino dark elf kind of things.
Yeah. They're the drow
analog in this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean we talk about like things like mapping over. So the next thing that we want to talk about is the bestiary, which has a lot of creatures. A lot of them are mapped over from the actual D&D monster manual. So there is a monster manual with like a whole list of creatures and stuff like that. But here we have some unique.
So they basically take stats from D&D monsters and then just map it onto creatures in Zendikar.
Correct. So for example, like angels. Well, angels are also found in the
D&D
monster manual.
Okay. So
however, griffins are not found in the monster manual. So they're telling you like Zendikar griffins are much like.
Does Zendikar have griffins?
Yeah, Zendikar has griffins.
Yeah, so they have griffins in D&D, but they're not the same, basically. Yeah, and hippogriffs.
But they are
hippogriffs.
So this is how they word it. Zendikar's griffins are much like D&D's griffins. Griffons.
Yeah, I and O.
Instead of I and O, and hippogriffs. Yeah. So aside from the spelling, they even put there. Yeah. You can take those traits and map them into your campaign. But they also have like special creatures like archons.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, archons of redemption. So archon, they tell you like a normal archon, you can map it over to this thing called Deva. Yeah. Or you can use this like a special archon, like Archon of Redemption is a card. It's a challenge rating 10. Really tough. There are also like Felidas.
Oh, the giant cats, right?
Yeah, giant cats. Felidas are also unique characters. The Felidas have lifelink in here. They have
lifelink in the card has lifelink.
The card has lifelink, right?
They have healing touch and Felidas can also teleport. Do you know that?
No, we know.
Yeah, Felida magically teleports.
Can they teleport?
Because one moment the cat is here, next moment cat is there.
It's a cat thing.
It's a cat thing. The power of cat is strong.
AutoCat. We have Sphinxes, Drakes. This one is a new one. Yeah, Krakens. So Krakens, the monster manual has its own version of Kraken, but Zendikar Krakens are actually more similar to Storm Giants than they are to normal Krakens. So they give you like the stats of the Kraken. And for other creatures, right, you can, they tell you what you can map over, which is nice. Like the Suraka are similar to the lizard folk. So Suraka also like live in swarms, but they're just like bigger versions of lizard folk. Gamazoas, which are definitely not in the
what are those? Are those like jellyfishes?
The jellyfish, the floating jellyfish that seemingly do nothing, which are actually probably extensions of Eldrazi.
Oh, okay.
Because they're like jelly type fish. They are can be mapped over to Roper.
Okay, Ropers are nasty.
Yeah. So other creatures of the sea. So there's a whole list like demons, vermin,
and like when you play like certain classes in Dungeons and Dragons, let's say like clerics, wizards, sorcerers, druids, you can also summon creatures. So you could end up doing a little bit like you do in Magic, where you summon creatures to fight for you. So you could summon some of these guys to help you beat up the other guy if you want to. You should always want to.
Okay. I cast you. Okay, so
Hydra.
Yeah, we're going to. It's a long section. But finally, we're going to come across the thing that I think Eldrazi has, or at least Zendikar is defined by, and is the Eldrazi. And then the Eldrazi are basically can be mapped over to a lot of things. They give you an example of what the Eldrazi should look like. And of course, we know the Eldrazi are spawned of 3 different types of Eldrazi: Ulamog, Kozilek, and Emrakul. Each one has their own unique form and own unique way that they interact with other beings. So we can map them over to a whole list of things. Under challenge rating 1, we got Cockatrice, Dredge, Violet Fungus.
Violent fungus. I met that yesterday.
Yeah, we came across like the campaign that we were going through. We came across some fungus. Yeah, a violent fungus.
It set me on fire and beat me up.
Yeah. No, you guys set them on fire and beat them up. Actually, it's a violet fungus. Gas spore, myconid adult, rust monster, troglodyte. So it's a whole list of things that you can map over. But yeah, some small modifications to existing monster stats. Eldrazi are immune to psychic damage and charmed condition. And they tell you like Eldrazi of Ulamogs or Eldrazi of certain Eldrazi have certain certain abilities.
Yeah, these are like modifications to existing monsters to give them a sort of like an Eldrazi template of sorts, so that you can flavor anything Eldrazi.
And that's it. That's really the end of the book. So it gives you an entire guide of how to build a world and how to build your campaigns and adventures in Zendikar. So it's hey, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but Overwatch is like in the background. Okay, so that's it. Any questions, Edwin, on your education on D&D?
I think when I start playing,
you gotta start playing. Yeah. So for us, like, we encourage you to look out for any store that does D&D, or any friends who are interested in playing D&D, and just get somebody. Reach out.
You can write over to. I don't know about big, but if you're interested, you can write over to me. I can answer queries and get you started on your own game. I do this community game efforts.
So what's your where can they write to then?
Oh, okay. So let me see. Like, can I put it on your podcast? Like, Okay. So I run this group, Curious Chimeras, Curious. Then Chimera, Chimeras. You can find us on Facebook, and then you can just add on that. Just send a message to that. It's mostly actually just me. Then,
it's a D&D.
I run D&D for children and anyone who wants to play. But generally, I also use it to teach people how to run and make their own RPGs. So it's a bit just a community game effort. And because I think the more people to play this, the more we'll have fun, and it's better together.
Yeah, I think 5e is like the best iteration of D&D so far. It's the most, maybe not the best iteration, but it's the most I don't want to say it's most inviting. It's a lot easier to pick up if you're a new player. It's fantastic. Like,
it's sustainable as well to play with. It's easy for you to pick up and run. Like, you don't feel tired running in a game as a DM.
Because you are not dictating everything. Your players are dictating whatever happens. All you have to do is to have a rough outline of what you want to achieve on this session as a DM, and
facilitate that.
And just facilitate them. And if they go off the rails, then they just go off the rails. Well, you'll find some way to you'll find some ways to railroad them back in.
Like your brother, he's insanely obsessed about charging anything that moves. If he finds there was a monster on the other side, he couldn't get to it, so he broke the wall down. He's a very focused man. We just follow Dan.
Okay, so
thank you very much for having me here.
Thanks for coming on the show. You need to go and play D&D, man. You've always been telling me, I kind of want to play. But then don't want to play.
Well, D&D is not a one-player game, so...
Yeah, it's not a one-player game, but it's really quite fun. So, yeah, I really do advise everyone, go out there, try this out, because it's really fun. I got back into D&D.
Yeah, don't play Magic, play D&D.
Yeah, exactly. Play both. We have D&D night. Well, we should be having D&D night. I don't know why we don't. Mark?
It's not here yet.
Mark's not here yet. God damn. All right, so we're going to...
You've been listening to the Power 9 podcast.
Yeah. Every week, remember, you can find new episodes and updates on power9podcast.com, on mtgcast.com, and you can find us on iTunes. And if you're on iTunes, please leave us a review. It does help with visibility. Just leave us a good review, a bad review. We're always looking for ways to improve the show. What else? Right, you can find us on youtube.com. Just look for Power 9 Podcast. We've got like video stuff every week. And with all the streaming, we're coming up with new content as well. You can... Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you guys. Take good care. Goodbye.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.
Where was I? All right, you can find us on facebook.com/power9podcast. You can also find us on Instagram at Power9podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Power9podcast.
The 9 is the number 9.
Okay, and here I've got to add in, like, we do Twitch almost every other day. For now, yeah. You can find us on twitch.tv/theasianjudge. You can find Edwin on Twitter at
EdwinTCW.
No underscore?
No underscore.
Yeah, no underscore. EdwinTCW. And you can find myself at theasianjudge. Just tweet at us if you've got any... Well, if you want to just talk to us.
Tweet at us. Drop us a message on Facebook, on Instagram, email.
We're lonely.
Yeah,
people.
I mean, do you want my number? Do you guys want my number? I'll post it out online.
You want my house
Just
address?
text me. Just drop me a message.
Just come. It's okay. Alright, so enough about D&D. Next week we'll get back to your regularly scheduled Magic talk.
Yep.
We never talk about Magic on this show, so...
We never talk about Magic on the stream.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll do some random tests on the stream.
So yeah, right. So for myself, Xiaohan and Edwin, we're signing off.
Bye guys.
Ciao. I want you. All I have to do is stream.
Alright, control. Mic, please, maintain.
Where am I again?